let's see. Hi, this is George Chamoun. I want to welcome you to this live stream on Sunday afternoon, September the 19th. It's about 5 US Central Standard Time. If you're watching now, I don't think there's anybody now, just a couple people maybe. If you're watching now, please let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm looking at my phone. I think it's running. Submit your name and introduce yourself in the comment box if you're here. And even if you're gonna watch this video later on, you can still do that. You can submit your name, your where you're tuning in from, and HTML, CSS. And in this video, it's gonna be part 2. I went over part 1 last time on how to start building an HTML CSS page, and it looks part 2 now. In part 2, I'm gonna go over the HTML elements quickly, and then I'll try to explain the CSS element or the spreadsheet, how to style the HTML element. And it's not going to be a long video because I don't want to overwhelm you with information. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do more sessions, more subsequent sessions, like part 3, part 4. I'm not sure how many times I have to do it, but I'm gonna do it in small chunks. So let me, for the HTML and CSS codes, and okay, so this is the index HTML page, and I'm gonna show that it presents on the screen. So index.html, if we right click and open with live server, and this is how an HTML page looks like. This is a simple page I built, but this is how it looks like without any styling. So you don't have any colors, any font styles, you don't have any boundaries, you don't have anything, you know. Forget this box here. This is JavaScript. It's the opt-in form. So this is not gonna be a part of this tutorial, but I had to put it here because it's gonna be an opt-in page. So looking at the top, this is the navigation bar, the main one, and this is a navigation bar in the bottom of this. This is another, I think, this is the subtitle. Those are titles, I think, because they are the same size. So now I'm gonna show you with using CSS and targeting this page how it looks like. So if I go back here, and this is the main.css, this is where you enter your code, you create your codes for styling this page. So if I go to the main.css, and I already did this before, I'm just showing you what it does. Actually, I have to go. Okay, this main.css, it's gonna be embedded in the index.html page, and this is where you see it here, main.css. It's in a CSS folder, and this is the shape it takes. It goes between the link space rel equal relationship equal style sheet, and you have it in between quotation, and then you have href equal. It's referring to this file here. That's the shape it takes. Now I had one, so I changed its name so it doesn't affect the page, but now I'm gonna remove the one, and this is the correct name if I remove the one, and you're gonna see how it's gonna look like, how the web page will look like once we use CSS, once we target the CSS. So if you look at this one, so let's see, if we remove the one, you can notice the change on the screen, and this is what the CSS does, the cascading style sheets, what it does to the effect it shows on the HTML element page. So let me remove one. If you look at it now, you see all of these, it changed now. All of these rectangles, like the boundaries, the colors, the thickness, the background, the gray background, those squares, they're underlined, their numbers there, and then you have this, the color red here, and then you have the text, it's different, it's sans serif, I think they call it, and then you have the paragraphs here, those lines, they are separate, and the fonts are different. And then you look at the boundaries, and that's another navigation bar, it's the navigation and a footer. So that's what the cascading style sheet does. It styles the HTML page, and this is a very simple, basic page. So if you have any questions, please submit them in the bottom on the in a comment box, and also you can join. If you follow the link in the description, you can join my emailing list, and then you'll get the PDF files of this code, the HTML, whenever I have this tutorial. And you can do it on your own if you want. Once you download the Visual Studio Code, and you can follow these, just type them the way they are, and you can change the text if you want. And you can train on creating an HTML with CSS sheet on your own computer at home at your own time. So now I'm gonna go over some of the basics. I'm gonna review a couple things about the HTML. It's good idea if you have any basic knowledge about at least the basic HTML elements, but I still want, I'm gonna go over it just to show you something basic but very essential when it comes to HTML, CSS. Most of the HTML the HTML elements, they call them. So let's say if you have a P, let's look at this, the P. The P is the element that you can embed in it a paragraph for the HTML document. So there's the element, and it's got a closing element, tag, actually they call them tags. This is the whole element, and the P is the opening tag, and the // P is the closing tag. So most elements, some of them only have an open tag, just like the horizontal bars. If you want to draw a horizontal bar on the HTML CSS page, you just enter brackets and BR or HR in between, BR I think for a break in between, and you don't have to use a closing tag. But most of the HTML elements have an open tag, a closed tag, and many times the element will tell you what is it about, and they call it semantic. Whenever you read the element, and it's self-explanatory what it represents. Like sometimes you have a footer and a header elements, and then you know it's in a header, the footer is on the bottom of the page. So and then you have in between, I have to talk about the ID and the classes. This is very important. The elements can have an attribute which give it more specific description, or if and there's equal, and between quotation you enter numbers here. What it is used, it's used for the CSS, for the CSS style sheet to target this specific element. and it knows this element by the ID. So for example, you have this paragraph has ID 1, ID 2, ID 3, 4. So I can do styling for the paragraph. If I do paragraph without any specification here, without any attributes, it's gonna style the whole, every paragraph between the p tags. But if I specify ID equal 1, 2, then each paragraph have different attribute, the ID value 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can target each one of them. So you can have one paragraph yellow, one paragraph red, etc. And there's another, and the ID is used, it's not used often. They use the class attributes. The class is more widely used, and you use the class whenever you want to target the same element in different spots of the page. The ID is used rarely unless you have like elements which are not used often, like the navigation bar. You can put navigation, then you add the attribute ID equals such and such. So let me show you the class here. Doesn't look we have a class. Yeah, I use the class here. So if you look at the div, we use the div a lot, and in order, we use the attributed class because the div is not unique. We use the div, which is like a box, so many times on a page. So we use the class. This way you can target by one code in a CSS different divs. So, and this is the opt-in forum. So this is, it has JavaScript. This is not our it's not included in our explanation here in our tutorial. I'm just talking about the HTML and CSS. And so I'm gonna go now to the CSS style sheet just to go over a couple things to show you how it targets the HTML elements. So this is the HTML CSS. Okay, the way it looks like, the way we do it is, first you enter the element you want to style, and then you enter the specifications, what specs you want to apply to the element, and you open braces and then you close the braces here. This is an example of the first one. The first one on the top, gonna start with the top one. This asterisk here, it's gonna target the whole page. They call it the root element. It targets the whole page. And what I did here, I used the font family Arial, Helvetica, and Sans Serif. So I wanted every font on a page, every text, to have this style of the font family. So I used the asterisk because it targets the root, the whole page, everything. Now what you can do, you can target separate elements. That's an example here. Let's say the body, and the body is everything that appears on a page, I think below the navigation bar, like below what I did, I wanted the body to have a blue border. You look at it here, it's a blue border. So I used the body element, and then I opened the braces and closed it, and in between I have border style colon. That's the shape I forgot to mention. That's how it, the format, that's how it when you use the style sheets, that's how you specify it. Like, let's say border style dash style colon, and then you add the value, and then you add semicolon at the end. So it says border style solid. It means the border is solid. It's not dotted. It doesn't have dots. And then it says border color is blue, and that's, you see the blue color here. Now if I want to change the the blue color to red color, let's say to green, to, or maybe a purple. Let's say I can substitute the blue with a purple, and if you look here, it changed to purple. But I don't want it. I want to keep it blue. I go back to blue. So one of the importance of CSS style sheet, you can have the all the styling in one page, the main.css, for example, and you whatever you can change, you can whatever you want to target on a HTML page, you can change from one location, one style sheet, one document, because there are other two ways of using the styling, those styling codes. You can have inline, the inline, which is embedded in an element. Whenever you type an element, you can add those codes to it, but it becomes very confusing if you want to mix up the HTML and a CSS in the same document. This is why it's much better and more organized to keep them separate. And there's another method. It's the internal, where you can have the codes between two style elements, and on each page you can have them. So you can style the whole page by entering between the top. When you have it in between the header, you have the style tags. You can enter the information there, but this is much better. Most people recommend this one because it's you can control the whole page, you can make changes, and you can style it from one document, and it's more organized because, as you can tell, I'm starting from the root, going down, and then you specify each one by one, like going down. You're not going up to different places randomly. So let's say I went to the body here, and that's what we have. And then inside the body is the navigation bar. So I went to the navigation bar and I did the styling here. So that's it for this. I think that's it for this part 2 of the presentation. I don't want to overwhelm you with more information. In part 3, in the next video, I'm gonna go over only the style sheet and each element, how it targets the web page, and how it changes what styles and what it does, and how I come up with those, and what's the importance of Visual Studio Code whenever you type in codes, whether HTML, CSS, or other programming languages. It helps you a lot by auto-completing a lot of codes. So all of those codes, you have to understand them, how they work, but you don't have to remember them, because there is a way to type them and retrieve them from the system. The system will complete the codes for you. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Submit your questions in the comment box, and I know there's not too many people. I don't know if there's one or two, or there's nobody now, I think, but I'm sure a lot of people will come in the future to watch it. So you can still submit questions, and if you want to join my email list by following the link here on my YouTube page, let me see. See the link. There's a link here about my mailing list. To join it, you can get a welcome page, welcome email, sorry, a message to your inbox. You confirm your subscription, and once you confirm it, you get the first welcome message from me coming from eWeber. That's my email marketing software. And you will have two PDF files in the first welcome message. You can download them, and this is exactly what they are. The HTML codes, and the styling sheet, the CSS main style sheet. So you can follow along next time, or even if you watch this video or the video before this one or the future ones, you can use them, you know. And by joining my list, I'll be sending you from time to time. I send you like helpful resources, and I don't send a lot of promotional material because I'm starting new now, and I'm not gonna overwhelm you with advertisements. But what I can do, I'm in a process of creating courses, online courses. So by joining my email list, you'll be notified whenever I. Thank you very much, and